I've never witnessed a showdown like this among prisoners. Both sides are condemned prisoners. A major confrontation is about to erupt. On the left, 87 clad in red and blue. On the right, 103 decked out in yellow. Each one has killed more than 3 lives. Due to their menacing profiles, the United Nations abandoned them on an isolated island. All the guards were promptly evacuated, leaving them to their own devices. Only the strongest will make it out alive. Introducing first, the prisoners on the left. They were the first to set foot on the island, arriving by boat. They were handcuffed by the guards, and all 206 were ordered to squat. It was announced that there are no guards, no cells here. They rule this desolate land. Every action is at their discretion. Supplies will be dropped every 3 months. For emergencies, they could approach the communication buoy and hit the red button. Keys for the handcuffs were thrown on the ground, and without hesitation, the guards left. A mad dash for the keys ensued. It was totally a mess. Finding the correct key for their cuffs, among 200 others, wasn't going to be easy. The scene was chaotic. Then, under the guidance of an older prisoner named Walter, a group managed to unite, making a way for one to find keys. To open their cuffs, they swiftly released themselves, grabbed weapons from the supplies, and started to fight back with axe. This group, now called the Axe Gang, with the help of axes, cut down the others, and quickly took control. Walter just sat there, watching the clash. Soon, other prisoners stopped resisting. Walter's adoptive son was the fiercest, ordering prisoners to throw out their keys. "Throw out your keys now." The gang got the keys. Unlocking their cuffs, Walter's son asked him about the fate of the other prisoners. Walter replied, "Son, we need to kill them all. In this case, saving supplies would be easier." Hearing this, some prisoners tried to escape, but were immediately killed. A fight ensued. The prisoners picked up the stones. Stones were thrown. Charges were made. The conflict had begun. Walter's son took down 3, but was hit by a stone thrown by Skinny. Skinny, seizing the moment, got the upper hand. The Axe Gang, being outnumbered, was soon annihilated. Walter, despite his age, tried to showcase his strength, but failed miserably, and died. In the midst of the chaos, 3 smart ones tried to escape on a boat. They broke the signal transmitter, but their boat capsized. With the Axe Gang wiped out, surviving prisoners began dividing supplies. Michael, with a bag full of food, chose to live alone, walking toward the remote parts of the island. A vast icy landscape. Michael slipped, falling between glaciers. After a day's journey, he found a place to rest, gazing at a photo of his family. He woke to find dozens of rats coming out of his food bag. Desperately, he held onto his remaining food. 10 days later, with food gone, he resorted to hunting seabirds, skillfully prepping and roasting them, filling the air with an irresistible aroma. Skinny was attracted by the scent. Turns out, camp supplies were already gone. Silently, Michael picked up an axe. Skinny took a knife, but hunger had drained Skinny's strength. Taking pity, Michael offered him a share of the seabird, and Skinny devoured the seabird. A meal solidified their budding friendship. Yet, upon waking, Michael found his cherished photo missing. Which is his most precious photo? Spotting Skinny holding it, masturbating, rage consumed Michael. He lashed out, beating Skinny, until he pleaded for mercy, and promised that he would never dare to do this again. As summer waned, resources became scarcer. Birds were elusive, forcing them to fish. Then, an accidental find, a wrecked plane. Being a seasoned pilot, Michael eyed it as their ticket off this island. In the winter, with a shortage of wood, Michael and Skinny decide to steal some charcoal from the prisoner camp. Upon arriving, they're both cold and hungry. Seeing barbecue on the grill, they don't hesitate to pick them up and eat. Removing their gloves, they warm themselves by the fire. The warmth is so comforting. They fall asleep beside it. At the camp, sinister things unfold. Hank, ruthless and cunning, becomes the head of the prisoners. He divides the prisoners into 2 groups, humans and dogs. His own group wears red, acting as the overseers. The humans, the others wear blue, the oppressed, the dogs. Life for the red uniformed is comfortable. They roam freely, play games, eat canned food, and even marry inflatable dolls. They live a happy life, and the blue uniformed are corralled, deprived of food, and forced to play a deadly game. The deadly game is called, those who run slowly will become the meat. The rules are simple. Over 100 in blue stand in the courtyard. When the gong sounds, they desperately run into a house. Run faster, you bastard. The last one to enter becomes the next meal. Food is now scarce on the island. People in blue are rushing madly into the house, crowding even the windows. Hank shouts at them. Slowest becomes meat. That's how we roll here. Suddenly, the second to last runner kicks the very last one. to the ground. The rest make it safely inside. Now, there's meat to feast on. Hank tosses a knife down, and his men pick up the knife and execute the slowest runner. They then drag him to the bonfire, ready to roast. Michael and Skinny are still sleeping by the fire. They are caught up with ease. Hank thinks they've been secretly surviving outside for so long that they must be some cunning folks, directly dumping them with the blues. The next day, the game resumes. At the sound of the gong, Michael stands still in a daze, refusing to participate in the foolish game. Skinny drags him into the house. Another unfortunate man is kicked out of the house. He is so terrified that he kept stepping back. Being caught, he receives a punch. He is tied up and becomes the meal. Hank paints on the beach, admiring his masterpiece with ease. Realizing their grim fate, Michael rallies the prisoners. If they go on like this, they'll all be eaten soon or later. They must fight back. The third day, as the game begins again, instead of running, the prisoners unite. A guard in a watchtower tries to push them, only to be silenced by a thrown rock. Hank comes out. Michael negotiates with Hank, end the game, and in exchange, Michael will fix a signal transmitter to request supplies. And Michael has also found a plane. Once repaired, it can take Hank off the island. Hank, knowing Michael was a pilot, agrees, sending 2 of his men. They row with Michael to fix the transmitter. However, the Blues was tricked by Hank. In Michael's absence, Hank executes some blue uniformed leaders. The prisoners were terrified. As Hank yells, "The slowest dies, the slowest becomes meals." They run back. The watchtower guard gleefully resumes his role. Michael finds that the transmitter can't be fixed exactly. Upon their return, Michael lies, claiming the signal has been sent, and the supplies will arrive soon. But Hank, not easily fooled, notices the manual stating that a green light indicates successful transmission, as he's about to kill Michael. While Michael was prepared in advance, an engineer, already discontent with Hank, makes a surprise attack on him with a screwdriver. Hank meets his end. The watchtower guard, seeing this, quickly changes into a green uniform. Michael, now the new leader, immediately ends the deadly game. Everyone coexists peacefully. When food runs low, they resort to eating seaweed. Skinny, writing SOS in the sand, gets no response. Michael and the others stumbled upon a plane. Seeing it, they all burst into joy, spreading their arms and imitating its flight. Even a blue-shirted one hoisted a red-shirted companion, pretending to be a Boeing 747. Even these killers had a softer side. Their yearning for freedom was palpable. Together, they disassembled the plane, building a makeshift hangar. And soon, the engineer had it fixed. At last, the government's men arrived. Their leader demanded an explanation from Michael. Out of 206 people, why only 87 remained? Michael explained they died from disease, using the excuse that their wind turbine broke. He asked them for gasoline. Now, their plane had fuel, but just as they were about to make their escape, trouble struck. A new batch of American prisoners arrived. A battle was imminent. A great prisoner showdown ensued. On the left, 87 prisoners dressed in red and blue. On the right, 103 dressed in yellow. The guards, uncaring, dumped handcuff keys and left. Baldwin, the leader, asked his men to distribute the keys. Michael approached, extending a hand in friendship. Baldwin, however, showed no respect, launching a punch. When Michael turned away, Skinny had hidden a rock in his cap and charged. The left side had weapons, the right, sheer numbers. The two factions clashed violently. The engineer pulled Michael to safety, but a hoodlum gave chase. The engineer pressed a trap, killing the hoodlum. Despite Baldwin's formidable fighting skills, Whitlock engaged him in combat. Baldwin dodged a strike and counterattacked with his axe. Whitlock quickly sidestepped. Seizing the moment, Whitlock landed a hit on Baldwin's chest, but Baldwin's might seemed unstoppable. Baldwin swung his axe down, but Whitlock parried it. Yet, it was a feint. Baldwin's right-hand axe struck true, with another blow to the face. Whitlock was floored, just as Baldwin was about to deliver the final blow. Another hand stopped his axe. Turns out, Matthew came to assist. Matthew lunged, but was blocked. Baldwin tried a slap, but Matthew deflected. Matthew delivered a massive headbutt, causing Baldwin to stagger back in pain. Seizing the advantage, Matthew plunged his dagger into Baldwin's waist. Baldwin met his end. The battlefield was a 50-50 stalemate. It was a tragedy. Seeing the prisoners out of control, the government abandoned them all, opening fire, killing those fighting prisoners. On the beach, only those who hid in the hangar survived. Michael, the engineer, Skinny, and Whitlock. They started the plane, aiming to escape. However, Skinny didn't board. He climbed the cliff's edge, watching the plane take off safely. With a burst of speed, He took a leap from the precipice. Perhaps in his heart, no one could escape the desolate island. Or maybe his spirit was already broken. Michael pushed the throttle, soaring into the sky, but he was spotted by a warship. A barrage of bullets rained down. Both the engineer and Whitlock in the backseat were tragically shot and killed. In the end, only Michael survived alone. He flew over the glaciers and finally made his escape from the island. End of the film. This film is titled Novaya Zemlya. Question of the episode: based on the battle scene we just witnessed, who do you think would have won if the government hadn't intervened? Left or right? Vote for the left side by commenting 111. Vote for the right side by commenting 222. What an intense movie to watch. It seems even among killers, there are differences in strength. Some are timid, and some are fierce, but once one commits a crime, the end is never good. If you enjoyed this, recommend watching the original movie. That's all for today. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.